Yeah, I'm up at Brooklyn, now I'm down in Tribeca, right next to De Niro, but I'll be hood forever. I'm the new Sinatra, and since I made it here, I can make it anywhere. Yeah, they love me everywhere. I used to cop in Harlem, all of my Dominican.
Hello, New York City. Good afternoon. It's Pat Sainville here on Chirp About It Live. We're broadcasting on AM 970 on this beautiful Saturday afternoon. Welcome, folks. We have a great show for you tonight. Today, I should say. In fact, we have a special guest. She's actually a food specialist. I'm going to call you a food specialist.
Thank you so much.
We have Evie Chow in the house. She has a food crawl called Eating with Evie. Right? Is that correct?
Yes. So it's something I've been doing informally and casually with friends, and everybody's been like, you should do something about it. So I'm tiptoeing in and seeing how it goes.
All right, good. So we're going to hear a lot from you in just a little bit. You're going to be chirping about it in just a little bit. We also have a good friend of mine, in fact, Mr. Mike McHugh. How are you, Mike?
I'm good. Chirp about it.
Oh, chirp about it is.
Yeah, great
and a lot we are going to do, no question about it. Of course, Ian Bamberger is out for the afternoon, so Mike is actually covering for Mr.
Filling
Ian
in a little
Bamberger.
bit here
of course,
on AM 970, The Answer.
And you're going to do great, I'll tell you right now. And we also have Mr. Joe Hendricks in the house. He's back from Canada, so welcome back, Mr. Hendricks. All right, I'll just cover some local topics, and then we'll speak with our very interesting, lovely guests. All right, Eve Chow about her food crawl, and then we'll do eventually. I think we'll do some. We'll get to some chirps today. We'll give New Yorkers the voice that they deserve, for sure. All right, I'll just cover some local topics about our great city. You know, speaking, radio. I started the show again two years ago, and there's a show that I've been listening to for many years. In fact, the station is actually going down. WPLJ. Maybe you heard about this.
That's changing format, right?
Yeah, they're changing format.
Christian music is what I heard?
Correct, yeah. Similar to this station, AM 970, well, there's a second station at this studio, I should say. It's AM 570, which is a Christian station. So I found that kind of interesting that, they were bought by the Educational Media Foundation, which is a religious programming group.
Wow.
And one of my favorite shows in the morning show, Todd and Jade. I used to listen to those every morning before I head out of the apartment.
You mean on PLJ before they change the format?
Well, yesterday was actually the last day.
Oh, okay.
Yesterday, the 31st of May, was actually the last day.
So the new format starts today, then?
I believe so.
Yeah,
I believe so.
And they're playing Christian music. Is that the?
I believe
Christian
that's what seems to be the game plan for them.
Somebody told
but
me.
I'll figure it out. I guess I'll begin to listen to their show and see if the station, I should say, and see if it's something for me. But it's it's interesting. A lot of a lot of things from the past are changing or being bought, and its routines are like just going out the window for some reason.
True. We're in that kind of era, that kind of time,
Yeah, that was my routine to listen to these guys every morning. But, Todd and Jade, well, shout out to them. Maybe I'll have them on the show. Maybe I should actually replace them in the morning. I should have a morning show, Chirp About It Live, AM, right? On AM 970.
Yep,
I think that'll be great. And they really cover New York. They did a wonderful job. So you never know. Maybe I can replace them, I'm confident enough.
Why not?
I'll listen to you.
Don't tell Joe Piscopo.
Well, by the way, Joe has he has an amazing show in the morning. I actually listen to Joe.
Yeah, my girlfriend's mother listens to that.
Does she really?
Yeah.
He's really upbeat show. I really like Joe's show, and I listen and I learn.
That's a very popular show on the station, right?
It is. It really is. He's on 5 days a week, I believe.
Got some great Hugh Hewitt. You got good people on here.
Very good people. Yeah, and then you have Pat Sainville with Chirp About It, huh? Brand new, huh? Well, it is June 1st today. Today's June 1st, and new system, for the MTA. There's a new paying system They tried out yesterday on the green lines, and number 4, 5, and 6, which is it's basically tap and go. Tap, pay and go, whatever you call it. So they're fading out, or they're looking to phase out the actual blue and yellow Metro cards. So within a couple of years.
I think they let you use the Metro card for a while during this time. While they're transitioning. I read something about it.
Well, now yesterday. First time it's a pilot, so they tried it out, and it seemed that it's working out pretty well. You can
4, 5, and 6 line, right?
4, 5, and 6 line from Manhattan, Brooklyn, and Staten Island, I believe.
And it's so if you have a Google phone, you can Google Pay, and that's the Google has its foot in it.
Yeah.
So on the 4, 5, and 6.
Yeah, so you can pay by a debit card, credit card. I guess app wallet or something like that.
So it's a Google Pay. So if you just tap your Google phone,
and that's it.
Yep.
And you go.
Yep.
Tap and go.
Yeah.
All right, there we go. Made easy. I guess that'd probably help with the congestion and delays and so on and so forth. It'll help. I guess the system flow a little bit better. So that's good to know. For some reason, I'm a little skeptical about it, but I don't know. Anything that has to do with my cards and my finances, I don't know about that. Usually in public all the time,
Exactly.
tap, tap, tap. They tap. It's just like ATMs. I don't like to use ATMs.
Somebody told me they think it could cause more hacking or something.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I've been hacked several times using ATMs, so I'm kind of a little bit reluctant about that. But hey, it is what it is. If you're not trying new things, sometimes you're never improving. I always say. So it is what it is. Now, 50. Again, today's June 1st. And it's also World Pride Month, all right?
It is.
Close to 50 years ago, we all know what happened at the Stonewall Inn in the West Village. Yeah. There was the Stonewall riot. So this month, in fact, they're going to be celebrating their 50th year.
Yeah.
50th anniversary, Gay Pride. So it's not Gay Pride Month. It's actually World Pride Month. Because the entire world will be celebrating the gay and lesbian and the communities. And
I actually booked a transgender artist. Well, actually, the second one
you were telling me about that. So let's go into that a little bit.
This artist, her name is Feathers, and she's connected.
Feathers.
Yeah, she's connected with this a nonprofit label I've been kind of partnering with in terms of promotion. They're called Recording Artist Development, Rad Records. And they work with artists that are, new artists, and they mentor them and kind of help them put together recordings and stuff. And Feathers is releasing a CD at the bitter end on February 2nd, kind of in the David Bowie vein.
Ooh, that's interesting.
Pardon me, not February 2nd, July 2nd.
July 2nd.
All
right.
At 7 o'clock.
7 o'clock.
2nd, yeah.
All right, well, we got to check out
artist.
Feathers.
Very talented.
Just by the name alone, I'm interested. I'd like to hear Feathers.
I've got some other acts I can let you know about, too. I actually have an act playing tonight at the not at the bitter end, at the Red Lion next to the bitter end. But we could talk about it later.
All right, let's talk about that later.
Yeah.
All right, let's also, the Central Park 5, these 5 teenagers many years ago, back in the 80s, in fact, I think 1989, who went to prison, who went to jail, and they were convicted for no reason, apparently. They did not commit that crime. It was a rape. Something about a Central Park
There's
jogger
a show
who
about
was
it.
raped. Well, yeah, now they actually struck a deal with Netflix.
Yes.
Who will obviously allow them to share their story with the world.
Yes.
These poor gentlemen, I got to tell you, 4 teenagers, and they actually had their freedom robbed. They were robbed of their freedom for many years. We're not talking about 1 or 2 years.
No, sad story.
I believe 13 years or something like that. Yeah. How sad.
It's beyond sad.
It is beyond sad,
The DNA evidence or something, they finally got...
Well, thank God for technology these days, huh? Yeah. So these, if not, these guys would have been, rotting in jail to, today and beyond, what have you. There's a lot of people who are locked up for, falsely,
Yes.
But then again, there are a lot of bad people out there as well. Yes. Just like this cop. I mentioned her a couple of weeks ago on the show. Cincinnati, this officer who hired a hitman, or supposedly wanted to hire a hitman to whack her husband and her boyfriend's 15-year-old daughter. What a whack job she is, huh? I'll tell you.
People.
And then yesterday she has the nerve to be crying like a baby in court. The nerve. The nerve. But you know what? You're not
people.
guilty until it's been proven. So allegedly, that was her plot.
Okay.
You know. So yeah, right.
Allegedly.
Allegedly, right.
Yeah.
So that's that. All right, I'll just
word,
cover
right.
one other. Speaking of foolishness, this is very serious. Yesterday morning on the F train, 9:30, people during rush hour, some young punks decided to light up firecrackers on the train
Oh boy.
and
Why?
cause complete mayhem for New Yorkers. Not good. You know,
No,
I take that
that's
very, very serious. I mean, you know, there was a lady who really, you know, her knees all banged up. And I saw a video on YouTube. People were so afraid.
Yeah.
The trains were
course.
crowded, and people didn't know what the hell is going on.
It's 9:30.
It's not cute.
No. It's not.
You know, these kind of
I
jokes
was
are
in
not
Central
cute.
Park for a concert once,
Yeah.
and I got my hearing blown out by a firecracker. Somebody exploded one near me. They took me to the hospital. By the time I got there, my hearing was back.
Well, can you
But
imagine
it's
being-
very scary.
Can you imagine being on a crowded subway?
Yeah, in
No,
a closed
thank you.
space like that.
Can you imagine that
Were
during
people
rush hour?
injured?
I don't want to be on the subway on a normal day.
Were
Right.
people injured? In
No.
that?
No one was in. Well, but besides this one lady who her knee was obviously really, she's in bad shape. Her knee is. But you know, it's really not cute for
No.
these people to be doing stuff like that. There's a lot of nonsense going on these days. You know, a couple of weeks ago there was a guy pulling the brakes on the
Yes.
trains. I mean, enough is enough. I mean, that's not cute. I don't know what makes these guys feel that it's okay to do stuff like that and just, you know, upset, you know, New Yorkers
Yeah.
this way. I mean, it's just really isn't funny.
Nope.
You know, and it's believe me, some people are like, they just a shrug on the shoulder because you weren't on that train.
It's no joke.
No.
It's just
You weren't on that train. That's why.
stupid
That's-
It's
behavior.
not funny.
It's
The
not.
It isn't.
fear of something like that happening is terrible.
You don't know what's going on. You know,
It's absolutely scary.
could be gunshots, could be a bomb.
It's
I mean,
awful.
you know, it's
Oh
like
my God.
these guys are like homegrown terrorists. I mean, they're like, you know, they're like
There's
MTA
just a lot
terrorists.
of
I mean,
wackos
serious.
out there, a lot of hot-headed
Pushing people on the
wackos.
subways and
Yeah.
so on and so
No.
forth. It's just,
Terrible.
come on, folks, just cut it out, please. Cut it out. It's just enough is enough.
Yeah.
Agreed.
All right, with that, I think we're going to go to commercial and then we're going to come back and speak with Eve.
Thank you.
Ciao.
Can't wait.
Yeah.
Who is Ed Lemo and why should I listen? Ed Lemo is an attorney that is unique in that he gives consumers good, solid information about the law that will help protect them against irresponsible drivers, landowners, and doctors and hospitals who are negligent and cause you harm. Ed Lemo has been representing individuals against insurance companies since 1984. Ed Lemo limits his practice to accident, injury, and medical malpractice claims. You can find out more about me at my website at www.lemolaw.com. That's www.lemolaw.com, or you can reach me at 646-522-9082. So if you're injured in an accident or a victim of malpractice and you need a trial attorney who has experience in the courtroom and gets results, call Ed Lemo at 646-522-9082, or you can reach me at edwardlemo@yahoo.com.
All right, Edward Lemo, a great personal injury attorney. Please check him out, lemolaw.com. All right, with that, we have the lovely Eve Chow in the house. Here to discuss her food crawl.
Thank
Okay,
you.
Eating with Evie.
Thank you for having
Oh,
me.
my pleasure. Lovely to have you. Good afternoon.
Good
so
afternoon.
let's get to chirping about your food crawl here.
Okay.
Now, first off, you're originally from California.
Yes, so I'm originally from the Bay. I pretty much spent my life there, and I was very lucky. We grew up in a really good, diverse food scene there. So kind of started all my food interests there, and then came to New York and fell in love and been eating my way through the boroughs. So,
And that's that.
yeah.
Great city for food.
How long
It
have
is-
you been in New York?
Almost 7 years now, and I'm in love. You know, there are days where I'm like, oh my goodness, but in general.
So basically, all you do is eat.
Yes, I eat. I eat a lot. I go from one restaurant to another. That is my cardio.
This is every day?
No, not every day. It's more of a weekend thing.
Okay.
You know, I'm always reading food news, like the regular news. So I'm, you know, seeing what's opening, and I just like exploring new things, supporting the local business. Chinatown's kind of my second home, I would say.
Yeah.
So I've eaten a good number of all the dumpling places there. I have my favorites. I know where to go for like certain items, you know, and it's home. It's fun. and I like to share it with people.
You like to share it with people. So
Yeah,
you
it's like-
decided to. So now, has it officially started, or?
So I've been doing casually since I've been in New York for a while. So I have, it's about to get started. I'm probably gonna start it through Airbnb experience, just so I can kind of tiptoe my way through it. And and people can reach me on Instagram. My Instagram's Eating with Evie NYC. If you ever want to just like eat with me, I'm always down. I love to share food, and it's that experience that I want to share with people. The ooh and the ah, and like, oh, that's really good.
That's cool. In fact, I have an idea. You should actually just, I don't know, put up a post and say, hey, listen, I'll be at, such and so a restaurant. Why don't you join me?
Anybody can
Eating
join.
with Evie. I think that'll be cool.
That would be cool. Like, yeah, there are days where I'm like, I'll order, and most of the time the waitress or waiter will be like, that's a lot of food. I'm like, look, I have a refrigerator. I can bring it home.
So you order a ton of food
Yeah.
all by yourself.
Yeah, that's like my table. So usually, like, I'll go by myself sometimes because everybody's busy with work. So I'll sit down and I'll like look through the menu and be like, oh, these are the things I want, and they'll be like, that's a lot of food. And then in general, sometimes they might have to push the table over, and I'm like, look, I'm not gonna eat it all. I'll have leftovers. But it's fun. Like, there's so many new places, and there's so many old places. Like, I don't have that much time, so gotta make the best of it.
I like that. All right, so now, we covered Chinese. So
Yes.
any Italian, any French restaurants
so
or foods?
Italian, there's a number of places I love. West Village has this little spot on 13th between 5th and 6th called De Andrea. They have cavatelli that's just melts in your mouth. La Truzzi in the West Village on West 10th Street gives you a very overall experience of Italian food. It's romantic, it's sweet. It's hard to get into, so good luck. And then, I love Michael White for all the stuffed pasta that he does. There's a new one that opened up in Flatiron. He comes from a pretty high background. I think he was at Osteria Francesca. The new restaurant's called Red's Dora. So, there's tons of places. There's every neighborhood has something to offer. So it's just where you are. And it's a good way to, like, see the city and just eat and hear people's story.
Yeah, I like that.
They put their heart and soul into it. And look, there's some times where, like, their story's great, but the food's not the best. But it's like, it still makes it special because they put a part of their soul into it.
Right.
So.
Well, and that's why, I had you come on to the show, because you're obviously now a New Yorker.
Yeah.
And you're putting your heart and soul into food.
Yes,
all right?
it is
Which,
my passion.
this city is so diverse. And,
Yes.
one of the reasons that helps the diversity of the city is culture and food.
Yes.
Food is really...
Food, food brings us together. We all have
Absolutely.
to eat. I think, we can all disagree about, like, what we like, what flavors,
That's right.
like the levels of spice, textures. But at the end of the day, we all have to eat.
We all say, mmm.
Yes.
Yes,
we all do. And
yum, yum, yeah.
Right? And it's, when you eat something, it brings you, I always think, like, back to a place that just makes you so happy, whether it's with grandma or mom or dad or just the things that, like, connect you. So, yes, food is, I think, a vessel of bringing you back into your memories and just making you remember why you love certain things so much.
That's right. I love it. So, are you a cook?
So I know my way around the kitchen.
Okay.
So, there are certain things I do make well, and there are certain things I don't do as well.
Like what? Look,
So
what do you
I'm
make so
pretty
well?
good at making dumplings. I will never make my own skin. I am now telling everybody. So I always buy store-bought skins for dumpling wrappers because I like it thinner. But I do make fillings, and usually every Chinese New Year since I've been to New York, I would have a dumpling party spread.
Oh, wow.
So it's kind of a joke with my friends that, like, I will overfeed you because I want to make sure everybody has leftovers. But yeah, so dumplings, I do a lot of
we're
Asian.
friends on Facebook now.
Yeah, everybody's invited. So yeah, I like having people over. I like cooking.
I like that. All right, good. So now you mentioned that you go around the 5 boroughs, and so we cover Manhattan.
Yes.
So what's interesting to you in Brooklyn?
So Brooklyn, people will now laugh, especially my friends, because they know it's harder for me to get out there because it's so big and I don't know it as well. Like, I will be honest, I don't know Brooklyn as well. I know, I worked in Sunset Park area, so I know kind of the more Chinese food area there. what was it, down by, I guess, Atlantic. There's like Yemen Cafe, and they have a lot of Middle Eastern food.
Correct, yeah.
That, I'm kind of more familiar with. I would say Queens is probably my other borough that I'm very comfortable with.
Yeah.
So like Flushing, I used to work there. I used to eat there. Elmhurst. And I love just walking along Roosevelt. It's like a little trip through the world, and you just walk and eat and walk and eat, and it's great. And I mean, it's usually a nice, easy walk. You just walk along Roosevelt. You can like divvy to the left or the right, but you find something and you just like eat, and then you walk a little, and then eat, and you walk a little more.
Let me ask you a question. After the show, today's Saturday. You mentioned that you do this.
Yes.
Your food crawl on the weekends.
Yes.
After the show, where are you headed to?
So today I think I am craving a burger. So, Raoul's is my favorite burger.
Raoul's my favorite restaurant in Tri-City.
Raoul's
you guys know your food, boy.
Raoul's is like,
Yeah, they do have an incredible.
Yes.
They do have an incredible.
Where
burger.
is that?
It's on Prince Street.
Between Thompson and Sullivan.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
It's right across from Pinch Chinese. Raoul has this pretty magical burger, and it's just perfection because it's like fancy, but it's not, and it's decadent, but there's also hits of freshness, and then the duck fat fries that you just want to like never end, and then the au poivre sauce that you just want to dip in everything. Look, it's not friendly on the waist, but it is definitely delicious, and it's just something magical. It's a good.
It's the sauce, I hear. That's the magic.
It's everything, because like the pepper, and then you have like the greens. I always forget what it is, and the cheese and the bread, and like everything blends together and hits all these different notes in your mouth. And everybody has a fancy burger, but somehow they have been able to like really just bring it all together and like so well balanced. And then you like dip in the au poivre sauce, and then you have a drink there, and you're just like golden.
Look, you're making me hungry right now. You're making me hungry right now.
I just started eating burgers again recently. Oh my God.
Yeah.
I'm heading to Raoul's.
I'm pretty sure I'll go there and start there, and then there's bakeries, and there's just tons of things, and it makes me happy.
That's good.
And I want to share that with people. I want people to be like, "Ooh, that was really good. Like, I understand what you mean when you eat that," or like that note like just really hits it, or that texture. So
I like that. So now, are you going to put together a website, or do you have a website?
No, so I'm just really slow at this. So, I do the Instagram like a lot of everybody else does in the city, or do in the city.
So you take pictures of restaurant food as you're going to the show.
Yeah, so, everything I put on my Instagram, I've eaten. And I like 100% recommend, and if I don't recommend it, I won't put it up. And like,
what kind of feedback do you get from people?
Everybody like, so for Instagram is something I've always done for fun. Now I'm kind of trying to make it more of a thing, and people are like, "Oh, you do have good food recommendations." And out of my circle of friends and most people, I am the one that they come to for food. And partly it's because I know so much. I can if you ask for a recommendation, I can probably give you 5 places, different price point, like if you're looking for a specific neighborhood, and I'm pretty thoughtful in my recommendations, because I know oh, you like this kind of atmosphere, you want something more casual.
Wow, that's cool.
Or this is a birthday dinner, so this restaurants are really good at celebrating birthday, but it's really good food, and you're not going to break the bank, and there's bars close by. I want to give people an experience, because that's what I want.
I like that.
That's
1-800-CALL-EVE.
Yes.
And you answer the phone directly. What's the event about? What are you looking for tonight? Well, it's a birthday party for 3. Blah 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 blah. Well, you should head out to this restaurant.
Yeah,
and that's a business.
People do that.
Business.
People have been doing that. Asking me about that, and I've been Yelping now for 10 years, and I know Yelp has their thing, but that's how I started with food, because I do like to write. I'm very opinionated. I have a lot of thoughts. And
I like that.
So,
it's like Ask Siri, Mike. Now we can ask Eve.
Yes,
right?
You can ask Eve about food. Yes.
I like that.
Thank you.
Oh, my
food
God.
expert here for the show. Here.
Yeah. Well, before we end the show, Eve, the show is called Chirp About It. So
Yes.
we have
Let's
New Yorkers
chirp
who
about
go onto our
things.
website. to share their New York moments, thoughts, or opinions. So before we end the show, I don't think we're going to have time for the entire panel, but we're going to ask you as the guest to pick one of the chirps and give a New Yorker the voice that they deserve. You pick a chirp before we end the show.
Okay. Oh, this one's good.
All right, let's do it.
Okay. I hate the springtime urine fragrance that now fills the air in New York. Hashtag spelling New York. Hashtag awful. And that's from Sean from Nassau, Long Island.
All right, Sean, there's your chirp for the week. Folks, that was our episode of Chirp About It Live. Hope you enjoyed it. We'll be back next week, same time, same place, AM 970, The Answer. Thank you very much, Eve Chow, Mike McHugh. Thank you very much.
Yep.
We'll be back. Pat Sanville, we're out.
Thank you so much.
This boy, it flies by.
Doesn't it?
Yeah, that was great.
Yeah,
Okay.
that was smooth.
Thank you.
Too much
nailed
on
it,
that.
young lady. That was quick
Thank
and
you.
precise.
Thank you. I hope I did okay.
Very good interview. Good interview.
Yeah, you did amazing. That was so good. You did precise. You were right
Thank you.
on it.
Yeah, Raul's is where I'm going now.
Frank is not there right now. He's there.
Later, right?
No, he's there.
I thought he was only
Friday.
Okay.
Tuesday through Friday.
The preceding program was paid for by Chirp About It.
Oh
What
yeah.
drives
Let's
a
take a picture.
business? Construction.
Let's take a picture together here.
Sounds good.
And you can post it.